What up, y'all? It's your guy Dawson from D&D TV. Thank you for rating, commenting, and subscribing. Everybody who's donated, those of you all who will, all that information is in the description box below. Also, go over to my other YouTube channel, Dawson Speaks TV. Make sure you subscribe over there. And again, I got to give a special shout out to everybody who's donated. You all have been showing up and showing out, and I appreciate that so much. Now, let's get into the story. Alright, y'all, thanks for clicking on the video. Hope everyone is doing well. Now, this video is for educational purposes, and as I approach these stories with respect, I want you all to please be respectful in the comment section. Thanks. Alright, now there are many stories that I have done that many of my subscribers hit me up all the time and they say, Dawson, what's the update on this case? And one of those stories in particular is that of Pastor Albert Weathers. Now, you all remember Pastor Albert Weathers out of Detroit. He is the married pastor who's also a father who one day on his way to work decided to stop by the Palmer Park area in Detroit, not to witness, not to spread the good news, not to lead people to the rock. He went to go get his rocks off. Yes, the pastor, Pastor Albert Weathers, went to the Palmer Park area to pick up a prostitute, or I should say, individuals who participate in survival sex work. Now, when Pastor Albert Weathers went to the Palmer Park area to pick up a sex worker, he met Kelly Stowe. Now, according to family and friends, Kelly self-identified as a transgender woman. Pastor Albert Weathers picked Kelly up and they both had adult relations. Now, according to an eyewitness and surveillance footage, Kelly Stowe can be seen exiting the passenger side of the vehicle when Pastor Albert Weathers comes out of the driver's side around to where Kelly is. He snatches something out of Kelly Stowe's hand and shoots Kelly. Now, I'm going to let you all watch this video and I'll be back with the rest of my commentary. And you all know me, I'm Dawson, and I won't hold back.
That 911 call and this surveillance video could play big roles in the case of Kelly Stowe, the murdered transgender woman. She was gunned down on Detroit's east side in December after an encounter with Albert Weathers, a husband, father, and pastor.
This is a man who was acting out of concern that he was going to be assaulted with a dangerous weapon himself, was trying to confront that person. The person had already threatened to flatten his tires and smash out the window.
But Special Prosecutor Jamie Horowitz says evidence contradicts that claim.
What you can see from the video is that she exits the car, there's no struggle, he goes around the back, and then he takes something from her, just as the 911 caller says.
Horowitz says Weathers was surprised when he learned Stowe had a man's voice after inviting her into his car that early December morning, and that he waited an hour to call 911 after shooting her.
Kelly was a victim in this case, and the defendant threw her out like she was trash and drove away and left her to die.
Horowitz claims Weathers has a history of dating and being aggressive with transgender sex workers, and that one of them is set to testify against him.
Alright, y'all, let's go in. Now, but before I get into the updates, I'm also going to read you all a letter that the pastor's wife's, one of her friends sent me. He said he's a personal friend of hers, and he wanted me to know some things about the case. I read that before, not the entire letter last time, but I'm going to read it for my new subscribers, alright? But before I do that, let me say this. Now, Pastor Albert Weathers is going on with this whole thing of, he was shocked when, he heard Kelly Stowe's voice. He didn't know she was transgender and all this stuff, and that he thought he was going to be attacked. That's BS. Pastor Albert Weathers frequented the Palmer Park area to pick up transgender sex workers. There was one that testified. You all remember Kyra. Kyra, who identifies as a transgender woman, testified, and there were others who gave the police statements that none of them wanted to mess with Pastor Albert Weathers. Every time they saw his vehicle, they knew what type of interaction they were going to have with him. He was always aggressive. He was pushy. He didn't want to pay. All of that was documented in court. And now, Albert Weathers, they're sitting here, oh, well, he didn't know. Come on, man. Some of my subscribers in Detroit told me, Dawson, everybody knows what goes down in a certain part of the Palmer Park area, and the people who go there to pick up sex workers know what they're going to get. So a pastor in Detroit, a married pastor, he didn't know what was going on in that area? And also, my question to you, Pastor Albert Weathers, I told y'all, Alice Walker warned y'all about them men named Albert. Wasn't Mister's name Albert? And he was aggressive as hell? Low down dirty dog. Pastor Albert Weathers, why did you go down to the Palmer Park area to pick up any type of sex worker? Why couldn't you have sex with your wife? You had just left home, kissed your wife on the forehead, told her you were on your way to work. What did a sex worker in the Palmer Park area have, Pastor, that your wife, didn't have at home? Oh, y'all got to talk to me. You can't just, pat me on the back and say, oh, well, calm down, Dawson. Let's just pray. Pray for what? Pray that justice is served on behalf of the family of Kelly Stowe? Yes, we'll pray for that. But I'm not going to sit up here and take up for this pastor who is married, who's sitting here telling us he didn't know what was going on. He was shocked that Kelly was transgender. Yeah, right, Pastor. You know what you like. You got to be real with yourself, Pastor Albert Weathers. That's why you went to the Palmer Park area. You decided to take a stroll down Blessing Boulevard. You thought all your problems would soon dissolve. Not. Now, I've got to give a shout out to Christina McDonald and Gina Hoffman. They are real journalists. Now, they ain't for play. This is their bread and butter. This is what they do over at Detroit Free Press, because they were in the courtroom and they wrote stories on what's going on with Pastor Albert Weathers, because it seemed like all the news stations and all the newspapers, they don't want to talk about this story anymore. They're trying to push this story away. Not on my watch. Now, there have been 3 judges on this particular case. The first judge was a black man, and he had to, remove himself from the case, and it was transferred over to Judge Tracy Green, a black woman, who recused herself from the case during a motion hearing after acknowledging she made financial contributions to a church fund for Pastor Albert Weathers' wife and daughter to keep them in their home while Pastor Albert was locked up in jail awaiting trial on murder charges. And of course, Judge Green did make those financial contributions to Pastor Albert's wife and daughter before the case was transferred to her. Then the pandemic hit and the case was at a standstill. Then in May of 2022, they got a white judge on the case. And this particular judge that's on the case allowed Pastor Albert Weathers to go home on house arrest, and he has an ankle monitor on that is monitoring him until his court date, which happens to be this Friday, July the 8th, 2022. I don't think they wanted that to get out, but he's going back to court this Friday. I found that out. And Kelly's family was upset that the judge let Pastor Albert Weathers out on house arrest. One of the family members stated that if Kelly Stowe had been white, that Pastor Albert Weathers would still be in jail. Now, I'm going to continue to keep you all up to date on this case because I started this case years ago reporting on it, and I'm going to see it through to the end. Now, let me tell you something. I'm praying for Kelly Stowe's mother, Jessica Williams, because you all have a fight on your hand, because it seems as though that Pastor Albert Weathers is well connected in the Detroit area. So I'm praying for Jessica Williams and family. Now I'm going to share with you all a letter I received from a close friend of Pastor Albert Weathers' wife. I'm going to read it verbatim. Thanks so much for sharing the update to the Detroit pastor who murdered the transgender. His wife has been a personal friend of mine for over 20 years, and she's absolutely devastated. The transgender who testified stated that her interaction with the pastor dated back to 2008, which is the year he got married. Since then, he also fathered a child outside of the marriage. While she remained loyal to him, he caused her and their 3-year-old daughter tremendous pain and put both of their lives and health at risk, in addition to the mental and emotional torment. Thank you so much for shedding light and bringing truth from an informative perspective. This definitely separates Dawson and Denise from those who maliciously wish to spew discord. Much love and respect to you guys. Wishing you continued success. There you have it. Now I'm off of this topic for now. So go off in the comments. Let me know what you think about this particular story. Be respectful in the comments, all right? Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Peace. Oh, wait a minute. I want to know something. Y'all let me know. Do you think that Pastor Albert Weathers was tricked? Or do you all think he knew what he was going to do when he went to the Palmer Park area? Let me know in the comment section.